What does poetry mean to me? Poetry to me gives me a sense of place. I think sort of I know who I am in poetry. You know, the world sort of makes sense in poetry. I can be inspired by anything. I mean, I can be inspired by anything from a street like Ayers Road to finding my family all over the world. I like the fact that in poetry you can explore new ideas. You know, we were brought up in areas where we become very sort of blinkered. You know, we think the world is kind of just our kind of reality, and I think poetry allows you to think bigger, you know, and sort of like to use imagination to discover new worlds, to realise that what's sort of just in front of you is not one-dimensional. It's got so many facets, you know. The cotton that made Manchester is from all over the world. The coal is from beneath the earth, and we burn it. And I don't know. It's just a wonderful thing. I'm inspired by everything. I started writing when I was about 11, 12, something like that. I knew I was going to be a poet. I knew I wanted to be a poet, and I didn't know what a poet was. I just knew that they wrote poetry, but I didn't realise that it would do for me what it has done for me. If I hadn't have been a poet, I have no idea what I would have been, because I was never going to be anything else. I always knew what I wanted to be. What I would like to have done, maybe, is to have been, say, a lawyer and a poet, or a doctor and a poet, or a street cleaner and a poet, or a kind of anything and a poet, because you can be a filmmaker and a poet, you know, so you don't have to just be a poet. Although you can live a very good life, travel the world, etc., as a writer. But I don't know what I would have been, because I've always been this, you know, since I first started. There are kind of, you know, and then there are people who become poets because they sort of, you know, they've seen what it can do, and that's fine, but I was kind of born this way. Everybody has a poem inside them, without a doubt. In fact, most people have written a poem at some time, or read them at a wedding, a funeral, a birth, a marriage. You know, when it really matters, when somebody wants a bridge between the physical and the spiritual, they turn to poetry, you know. In fact, that idea of there being a bridge between the spiritual and the physical is exactly what the poem Ayers Road is about. I think it is the diverse community, yeah, and I sometimes wish Manchester was more, embraced its diverse community in a much more sort of real way. But I think I'm one of the people who tries to do that, you know, so yeah. I think also the poem Ayers Road embraces that as well, the beauty of diversity, rather than only seeing diversity as a political kind of statement. It's not, it's what it is. It's what the world is, you know. If you think the world is only one way, then you're going to find yourself locked into a very small space. So no, Old Trafford is very much in my heart, as is Manchester, but this particular part of Manchester is full of kind of people that I know, and in fact my website is, which is lemnsissay.com, is built by somebody who lives in Old Trafford. Well, in fact, I got off the bus, the number 86, because I live in London now, you know, and I just loved walking from Brooks Bar, you know, just up Stamford Street, down Ayers Road, to here, you know. I was looking at all the shops, see if they've changed. Because I think this is such an incredible place, Old Trafford. You can learn so much and be invigorated by the people and the vibe, you know, that when you travel outwards, you take that with you. And and there's loads of people around here. What was his name? He sang a song called Black Whip, which was a big hit when I was a kid. He was from here. I'm sure a guy called Gerald was from around here. I mean, there's, loads of musicians and artists and what have you from Old Trafford. I like it a lot.